Hello there! In this video I plan to talk a little bit about how I would recommend people to go about using a Ouija board. Alright, first things first, what is a Ouija board? I'm assuming that most of you know what a Ouija board is already, but just in case you don't, it is basically a board that has traditionally, and still is, been used as a means of communication with spiritual entities. They're usually marked with letters, numbers, and a few words such as yes and no and hello and goodbye. And I've got an example here for you to see. It's my very own Ouija board, which I'll proudly display right now. Okay, here it is. Here's my Ouija board. I don't know if I can fit the whole thing in to the shot. See here. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much got it all in, I think. Yeah, as you can see, there are the letters. All the letters of the alphabet. It's numbered 1 to 0. We've got yes and no and goodbye. And as you can also see, there's a few little symbols on it, and I don't know if they're there for spiritual reasons or whether they're just there for artistic reasons, but whichever it is, they probably add to the allure. So there's my own Ouija board, and let's get down to business. Alright, now a bit of background about the Ouija board. It's actually marketed as a game, but because of its association with the occult, some people view it as dangerous or even evil. And it's true that there have been reports of people having some frightening experiences with the board. Not everyone believes that the Ouija board is a doorway to the spirit world. Some people theorize that the participants are unconsciously directing the communication themselves. I'm not one of those people. I believe that the board creates an opening to the spirit realms, and that many times a non-physical personality is in fact communicating. Given this, I don't view using the Ouija board as just a game. I don't think the board is evil, but I think there could be some potential for danger if people aren't careful when using it. So, now to get on to actually how we use the Ouija board. Right. These are my own personal recommendations, and I haven't used my own Ouija board very much. I've only used it about once so far. But here's just basically my own advice as to go about using the Ouija board in as safe a way as possible. Right. Firstly, it's often recommended that you don't use the Ouija board alone. Alright, there doesn't need to be a huge group of people, but, you know, I'd recommend 2 people or more. Secondly, where to use it? Well, I don't think location really matters all that much, but it might be useful to use the board in a place where you feel comfortable, like in your own home or a friend's home, especially if you're a person that has a sort of a nervous disposition. Thirdly, I would advise people to do a protection ritual before they start. The purpose of a protection ritual is to afford participants some safety from any malicious entities and to block these entities out. Like this world, the spirit realm has all kinds of people inhabiting it. It's not all beings of love and light. You know, so this is a precaution against potential spirits that may intend to cause harm. There's a fairly simple ritual for protection, which is commonly known as the white light ritual. And to do this, first you just take a few minutes to silence your mind, close your eyes and meditate, and just quieten everything down, and yeah, just still your mind and just stop thinking anything. You know, if you've meditated before or know anything about it, you probably have, you know, the basic idea of how to start. And next, what you need to do is start to envision a brilliant white light emerging as a ball above your head. Now focus on this ball of brilliant white light. Know and understand that this ball of light is intended as protection. Then imagine the ball of light growing and expanding so that it spreads throughout your whole body. Encase yourself in this white light. Imagine it glowing and shimmering. If you wish, you can imagine the light expanding to cover the entire room or building, although imagining it surrounding your body is probably just enough. Now, you can take as long as you want with this ritual. I would say that probably 5 minutes would be enough, but if you feel that you want or need to continue for longer, then by all means do so. Okay, now we've got the protection ritual sorted out, we're going to go on to actually using the Ouija board, as by now you should be ready. So step 1 is gather around the board, assign one person the role of asking the Ouija board questions. Now, Ouija boards come with what's called a planchette. I think that's how you say it. And I'll just fish out the one which accompanies my Ouija board. Somewhere here. There we are. This is what's called a planchette. And the purpose of the planchette is that it is the device which spirits use to spell out messages on the board or to respond to questions. Okay, and what you have to do is participants must gently place their fingertips on the planchette. Don't try to force the planchette to move yourself. That's the spirit's job, right? So give it some time. If it hasn't moved after a while, then there is no spirit there. Step 3. Right. If there is a response after a few minutes, ask if there are any spirits that would like to communicate. Yeah, just ask them to communicate through the board alone, because you don't really want them like throwing objects around the room or blowing up the television or something like that. However exciting that might be, I'm presuming you actually want to watch the television at some point. So having the spirits make it explode might be fun for the time, but you'll regret it later on. Or I think you will anyway. Alright, it's important to be respectful and serious, okay? Now, try to avoid seeing the Ouija board as a game. Spirits also, in my opinion, value good manners too, just like we do, or most of us do, so mind your P's and Q's, okay? Right, if there is a communication, ask the spirits questions for whatever period of time you'd like, really. Avoid asking questions relating to your own death or the death of another person, and try to ask sensible questions. Again, don't treat it as a frivolous game. It's something to be taken seriously. Bear in mind also that the information that you get through the Ouija board is not guaranteed to be accurate. Your spirits can be mistaken too, just like you all can. Right. At the end of the communication, the individual that's been designated to ask the questions, they need to officially bring the session to a close. And an important note here, you also need to do this even when there is no communication at all. Always close down the session, okay? Right. Now, to close down the session, tell the spirit that you are saying goodbye and ask them to do the same. Now, if the spirit does not move the planchette to goodbye, then move the planchette to the word goodbye yourself. And then in a firm, strong voice, say goodbye and leave out loud. And then take your fingers from the planchette. And by doing so, you have formally closed down the session. And the spirit should be gone. Because you don't really want them hanging around after you've finished communicating with them, just because then there'll be a sort of an unwanted presence. And you never know what they might get up to. Even if they're a positive and light-hearted spirit, it's still not a good idea to have them hanging around your home, outstaying welcome. So, added note, I personally also think it's good protocol to thank the spirits for communicating with you. And I think they probably appreciate some gratitude, so a simple thank you for interacting with us should suffice. And that's about it. So, above all, and I will stress this, remember to take this seriously and to treat the spirits with respect. And make sure you do some kind of protection ritual beforehand, and always close down the session. Okay? So, if you remember all of that, and you stick by it, you should be okay, and you should be all set to go. So, have fun, but above all, take it seriously, be respectful, and I hope you get some good experiences. Okay?